Howdy, folks. Welcome back to our series of SDK 101, specifically remote control tips to save you time and clicks while you're broadcasting. Today, we're going to talk about a really simple one that can save you a ton of time, which is multi-action buttons. And what I mean by that is if you don't know it already, each button in your remote control panel can do more than one thing. And I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you like to switch between, the NASCAR tower and the ticker. Well, one way you could do that is you could have two buttons, a show and a hide for the ticker and a show and a hide for the tower. And every time you want to switch between them, you'd hide your tower and show your ticker, hide your ticker and show your tower. Or you could put that hide in the button of the other. So you could just toggle back and forth. And you can take that to extremes as well. So one of the ways you can do that is with a radio button setup. A radio button means that when you push any one button, all the other buttons disengage and hide. And I'll show you an extreme example here. So I like to take all of my plugins and set them up with a radio button style action. So if you look well, first let's talk about how you make it a multi-action button. So you click the button you want to edit. You come into your settings, scroll down to this data section, and there's a row called left mouse button click. And if you look there, if you click the drop down, that'll give you an easier way to edit. And, most buttons might only have a single line here by default. And that's the secret. You can make it multiple lines. You add a semicolon. And you can add pretty much as many commands here as you want on a single button click. So the way I create radio style buttons is, let's say I have a plugin that's got 4 modes and I don't want to have to hide each mode to pick the other one. Then I'm going to create a kind of like a reset or an empty button first. I think that makes it that's the easiest way to do it. So if you look at this empty button I have up here, it is 100 hide commands. It hides everything I can think of that has to do with any of my plugins or things that show up in the bottom right hand corner. That's what this section of my remote is for. And so I create that first, hide everything. I even also have a button over here that's just called hide all things. This one's even bigger. This hides all the SDK components as well as all my plugins, because sometimes you just get something stuck on and I want to wipe it clean, especially if you're using the HUD and messing around and it's blocking something you need on screen and all that. So again, you create this empty button first, then you copy that button and create a list. So I have this list of green buttons here, the movers and shakers and a few other simple ones. And if you watch me click through them, you see that they toggle each other off. When I press one, the other one turns off as well. And so all I've done is I took the empty button, which is all hides, and then I copy and paste it, and I come in here and I change the text. In this case, it's fastest 5 for 5. Then I open up that list of commands, and I change that one to show. And that's it. Then I create the next button from the empty, and I change the one thing to show. So that can be a really nice radio button style, so that you just have one click, you hide and show things at the same time. The next way you can do kind of a combo button is it doesn't even have to be just shows and hides. I have an in-car camera button that I like to use. And again, this is going to be, it has about 100 things going on because it's hiding everything that isn't what I want. It's going to show my telemetry plugin. It's going to show this one actually switches from a vertical leaderboard to a horizontal leaderboard so that it's up out of the way for the in-car camera. And it switches to the in-car camera itself. So down here I've got a command that I borrowed out of the camera component, which just changes the camera group name to roll bar, which is what I like to use for my in-cars. And so that's basically a 3 action button there. It changes the camera, it moves the leaderboard out of the way, make that 4. It hides everything else in terms of plugins and SDK components, and then it shows the telemetry plugin. I think it also leaves the logos on and things, but you're starting to get the feel for what you can do with this, right? You can create all these combinations of things. And so the next one I would talk about, this isn't really a multi-action, but you could use it in a multi-action, is you can create buttons that change text values. So let's go with my Boothpicks plugin here for the example. So with Boothpicks, if you're not familiar with this, it just pulls up a list of drivers in their car, and we use this to make our picks from the booth. So my partner and I'll each make a pick. But I also like to use it for like a ones to watch. Like, hey, it's so-and-so's birthday. Watch out for him. Or this guy's won the last 2 races in a row. And so I switch back and forth between those. And so rather than typing in all the values over and over, I create these preset buttons. So let's look at the booth preset first. And you can see this is going to do, it's going to add myself and my booth mate into the first 2 text boxes. If you click on the text box, so you'll get the naming conventions: boothpicks.name1, boothpicks.name2. So this button is setting those first, and then essentially clearing everything else, so that I can click that button, and then we can do our picks live, and I'll type in the car numbers and do it. And then I might want to switch over to that ones to watch. So I've got a button here that I make, just to remind me of things I might want to call out. So defending winner, points leader, and I'll actually put the driver numbers in here pre-race so that I can switch to it with a single click once we're live on broadcast and things. So that's another way to do that. But yeah, I think that should get you going here. Like I said, the secret here is that you can do more than one thing with a button click. You can do camera changes, graphic changes, change text values, all with single clicks, and that can be really helpful. And especially if you do it in this radio style button format where you're doing, you kind of have 100 hides in one show, makes it so you don't have to hide everything every time. You can just click on to the next thing you want to do. So I hope you find this helpful.